Hello, and welcome to Swing and a Crit Miss, a Dungeons and Dragons podcast where my friends and I play for our own enjoyment. We're not professionals, we're not amazing gamers, we just like playing and hope you'll enjoy our campaign as well. This content is intended for mature audiences, so for any of your younger folks out there, please be advised. And with that, welcome to Swing and a Crit Miss. So, where we last left off with our fellow adventurers, they had recently come back from their journey up to the frozen north, and they got back to town where they were told that a wizard who had previously disappeared, working on some teleportation magic, had come back. They did some investigation, had some spoopy stuff happen, and it was revealed that something came along with Nathan, that the wizard who had been transported away for some reason. They discovered Jared and Elise, the two mages that you had previously worked with, were involved in that whole investigation, and after a little bit of figuring things out, Elise was kind of made in charge of sealing as well as kind of reading into the mind of this creature, discovering that it may have come from the moon or some sort of plane above the world you're in Relevin. And you were also given a task of going to a person named Siror Ozin, a contact of Elise's in Gelen. And you were told to keep it very hush-hush at the same time, and it would probably take quite a long journey for you guys to go over there, either over the mountains or around them. And so we left things off with you guys kind of figuring out what you're going to do and how you're going to prepare for things. However, I believe we ended, and I could be wrong, but we can backtrack a little bit. We ended with you guys getting to the barracks and sleeping, and then there was a dream that happened, and then you guys went down to Elise to talk about it, figure things out, and that's where you had the whole mansion scene. And then we ended with you guys coming out, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I believe. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as you guys exit the mansion and are brought back into the holding cells, you see the seal around Nathan's holding quarters, and, you know, the four mages that are kind of holding the seal tight. Is there anything you'd like to do while you're still in the holding cell?
Honestly, no.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of there.
Cool. Also, I'm so sorry to viewers that I'm always eating for these recordings. I don't know why. So I
Dinner
apologize.
time.
Yeah.
Nom.
So you guys exit the building. And as you exit the building, you look up into the morning sky. It's probably about only 10 or 11 at this point. And you notice there's a faint glint that appears. And you look up, and it comes closer and closer, and just sort of gleaming in the sunlight is a brass sparrow that's just diving down. And eventually stops and begins flapping its wings in front of you.
In front of somebody specific?
Nope, just in front of you guys as a group. And you see the beak open up. And you hear this canned radio sound, similar to what you hear when you use the music box. And it says, "Fellow adventurers, you have been recognized by Malachi Winder. If you would like to have your shares of the wealth that Malachi has, please find yourself down to the Tinkering District, and he will meet you personally. Goodbye." Click, closes his beak, and it just flutters back off.
Absolutely.
It would be rude
Summoned
to not
by
accept the
somebody like
invitation.
Onward.
All right, you're just going straight there?
Yep.
Okay.
Sure.
As you
This
walk
quest,
around,
the main quest became the side quest now. This is now the main quest.
I told
Yeah.
you I'd have enough to fill the gaps. I got things to introduce to you guys that you haven't gotten to yet. So, as you guys go and go across to the Tinkering District, you go towards. You're leaving the sort of central area of the city you're in. My brain's blanking out. Whatever the name of it is. And you go out towards where the more industrial side, where a lot of the sort of blacksmiths and weavers and leather workers work. And you see beyond there, for those of you who have not really been to the city, is a very large brass gate that is sort of made out of, it looks like it's made out of wrought iron, where it's like that twisty, twirly metal, but it is made entirely out of brass. But you can see through it. And you see beyond it large automatons walking and patrolling on either side of the gate, and then they turn around and walk back, similar to the earth elemental that you guys came across when you were first starting this adventure. There is no one else attending the gate. There's no people there. It is just these two automatons that are probably about 8 feet tall. And their head is, there's no face on their head. It's just like a little head that's just blank-faced.
Excuse me, shiny ones. We have an invitation from your creator.
The head stops, turns. You hear the grunk, looks down at you. I'll say, make a perception check, everyone.
Oh, natural 20.
9.
Natural 20.
Not bad. I can tell you that right now. 6.
Okay. Come on, folks. So, with that natural 20s from the two of you, especially since you are more magically inclined people and used to the magics kind of surrounding you, this robot turns towards you and you feel a slight chill down your back or a slight wave of energy. And you get the sense that this thing is assessing you in some way, shape, or form. There's no eyes to watch you, but there's definitely a distinct energy that is looking at you.
Oh, look, a bird.
It takes a second, turns, and goes towards the large brass gate, and then pulls open a little side door to the gate. It doesn't open the gate itself. It's just a little tiny, like Willy Wonka fake door. And then turns back around and watches you.
And I walk past him.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
just go to the side door.
After all of you walk in, it closes it and then resumes its same patrol back and forth. You see it actually takes a little bit of time before syncing back up with the patroller on the other side so that they're still like matching each other, exact same pace, exact same location. As you walk on the other side, the other one on the other side stops, and you who have felt it before feel that familiar sensation of being assessed and looked at, and then it goes back to patrolling. What would you like to do? So far, no one besides these things have greeted you. What you see on the inside is essentially like a large Willy Wonka-esque, like Tinkerer's Dream. There is a giant brass fountain in the middle that is shooting out water. It's made up of several different animals. There's like squirrels, birds. Those of you who approach the fountain even see that there is a mechanical shark swimming through the bottom of the fountain. Alongside, you see several factories that are working. You see some steam and, whatever excess magical smoke coming out of them. And there's several just different buildings, and they all seem to be made of some sort of metal, brass, iron. There's no like wood setup buildings. It is completely metallic at this point. There are no people anywhere. The most you see is these small mechanical creatures running around, moving back and forth. There's like, again, birds, squirrels, cats, dogs, all mechanical, running back and forth between these buildings in different areas.
Here, I thought you were starting a large collection of these things, Auran.
Don't worry. This will all be mine someday.
Can't imagine you could think of much better than this place.
I'll look for a front door.
All right, there's plenty of doors as you're kind of walking through. There's several different places that you enter. Each door, however, is manned by a large automaton, the more humanoid 8-foot ones. And
I'm looking for Malachi.
You just approach one and ask for that?
Yep.
You get that same magical sensation as it looks. It stands and stares at you, and it just sits there for a minute or two. And then you see a little bird, a sparrow. You're not sure if it's the same one that approached you. It lands on your shoulder. And the speaker opens up.
I'll put my clockwork owl on the other shoulder that I have.
Very nice. And the sparrow just goes, Malachi is this way. Please follow me. Closes and begins flying at a slower pace than what it flew off when you first saw one of these, and begins moving around through the different factories.
All right.
Or through the different areas.
Let's go.
As you make your way following the sparrow, you're brought to sort of in the further back, different from all the other like large metal buildings, is a very small, almost quaint shack compared to the rest of this place, but it still is pretty grand compared to like anything that you've seen in the residential district. It's still one floor, but it is made out of wood, has very nice roofing, essentially like a ranch style house. And the sparrow goes up, lands on the doorknob, and then you hear it just knock its beak onto the door. And then after that, it flutters off. Door opens. And you see, being driven by a mechanical wheelchair, is a older orcish man rolling past and sees you, looks up. Ah, I have heard several things about this group of adventurers. Some of them bad, some of them good. I figured I should get to know them by any means, as a person with means to support adventuring lifestyles.
It's rare to see another orc around these parts. And I'll shake his hand. Auran. Athena. Cough there.
Good to meet you, Auran Athena. Now, I believe I know Brenin and Odavius. I've seen some names pop up while working with the Bulwark. However, this last one, charmed to meet you, my dear. Who are you?
Do a little curtsy. Name is Primrose.
Ah, wonderful. Good to meet you, Primrose. Well, now, I suppose I should tell you why I summoned you and called you here, but would you like any refreshments or food of any kind that I can get you? I haven't eaten since last night at this point. Anything I can get for you?
Tea would be wonderful.
Tea? Wonderful. All right. 1 second. You see him kind of like take a little bit out of his chair and like turn a crank, and you see a little puff of smoke, and a small little weasel pops out, and you see him turn towards it and use some sort of magical phrase, and the weasel slides down the chair and wanders off. That should be here in a few minutes. Hopefully it stays nice and hot. Please, come in. And you see him kind of move his wheelchair around and go back up towards...
Quite a beautiful place you have here. I would call myself a fan of your work. I'll just point at the owl on my shoulder.
Ah, that's a good model. The birds are always my favorites. They sell very well across the places, especially down in the places that are less wooded, where they don't have as many birds. But I am a fan of some of our larger wares from time to time. They do make good work. But please, come in. And you see him walk in, and you essentially just walk into a workshop where it is wall to wall, just blueprints, essentially, of different automatons, different mechanical things. On the tables that he's laid out, there are still other like random sheets of paper that have like formulas and like drawings of different things that he has worked on that are all scattered around this room. Like you even step on some going onto the floor and while you're moving around. Sorry. Give me 1 second. I will have this put away. And you see him utter a magical phrase, and you see a bunch of mechanical woodland creatures just come in and begin scurrying off and putting away all the different papers that he has out and set aside, putting them into different files, into different pots, all about the place, even folding up some of the ones that were attached to the wall. And he gestures to the now cleared table with a few chairs around it. It's a larger table. You can tell he's probably had more than 4 guests at a time here, but he offers you a couple of chairs, and you see the woodland creatures kind of push up 4 chairs for you to all sit at.
Pull up a seat.
Now, oh yes, tea. That should be coming in about, and you see him look at a small little watch that he has on his hand. 3, 2, 1, and you hear a knock at the door. And the door opens, and you see this smaller automaton, but still it is a bear. And the bear walks in, lumbers in. It's not full-size bear. Walks in, lays down by the table, and you see its back open up. And rises up is a large tea kettle and 4 cups. And then another part on the top of the bear's head opens up, and there is a small pile of like scones and breakfast pastries. And a couple of the mechanical woodland creatures grab the plates, set them down, and set each of you some teacups. And a snake actually winds around the tea kettle and begins pouring tea for all of you.
You cease to amaze, Malachi.
Well, that is the name of the brand. I have a family legacy to uphold here. Now,
Family.
oh yes, the Winders are the ones who first came up with clockwork a couple thousand years ago, before the calamity happened in the
I was
cataclysm.
about to ask if this predates even the cataclysm.
Well, these things, and he kind of gestures towards all of the things, all of the creatures that are wandering about, these required a little bit of work following the cataclysm. A lot of them are magically driven at this point. But, he points over to a sort of on the shelf. It is a person, a robot, automaton, and it has a quill in its hand. And it's not running, but you see it has a quill and has a little desk. That one was one of my grandfather's adventures. Probably one of the closest things we've got to these at this point in his time before the cataclysm. Able to write out sentences and be programmed to write out specific phrases if you had the knowledge and wherewithal to write it.
Cataclysm or not, it's impressive work.
Thank you. I much appreciate that. Now, let's get down to business and why I called you. I tend to support adventurers who make names for themselves. They are sponsored by me in various different ways. And so I began to hear whispers of an adventuring group going out with the bulwark, having different shenanigans take foot from what I've heard on the wind with the Court of Mages. And so I decided to offer my ability to support you in some way, shape, or form. Obviously, I may have some favors for you to do time to time, but you would be offered discounts at any Michael Winder
Yes.
Sorry. Malachi
We'll do it.
Wonder business.
Yes. Yep. Deal.
And should you ever need a spot on the court to support you amongst the King's Council, I am always happy to lend aid to those who may require it.
You had me at Trinkets discount.
It's like working at Apple for the 10% off or whatever.
Mhm.
Yes,
No,
please.
Need lower.
That's a very big offer for someone we've barely worked with you, and we know of you, but we don't really know who you are.
Well, that's a fair gesture. What would you like to know about me? I'm an open book, please, by any means.
Do you currently have any family? Anybody next in line to take over?
Currently, I do not. I delved myself into inventions, and whatever love I may have had in the past slowly lost without an heir to take up my name. So, but at this point, it might not be necessary for me to have one. This factory is, as you can see, fairly self-sufficient at this point.
You think all these clockwork creatures will keep on running without you around?
Well, obviously there's still some maintenance and things to be made, but I have been working on automatons that can take care of that as well, and have been working to make that self-sustaining, as you saw any kind of gestures to some of the papers that are still kind of strewn about.
I just got a shiver of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yes.
Is there a little kid that's going to get eaten?
I mean, we just saw Clockwork Bear.
Yeah.
Oh God, I didn't even make that connection. Shit.
This is just medieval version of AI. This is just medieval AI.
Mm-hmm.
Do any of the automatons you create, are they designed for combat?
Well, I have been working with the Bulwark, specifically on creating some automatons that are geared for combat. The problem comes from the materials that are used for clockwork can be rather delicate, and so being able to create something that can withstand a large-scale battle or a long-term conflict is a bit tricky. But I do have some various weapons that I have made and designed for the Bulwark that do have clockwork elements to them.
We recently brought up, well, I guess that would have been a month or two ago, the King of the Mountain. I believe that's to the west of us. Has that been up? Has that been brought up to the council? And if so, what's going on with that?
You see him take some time to think. King of the Mountain. Well, I do know that the Bulwark did something with one of the villages around here, talking about setting up some more security, some sort of tithe of some sort, maybe something to do with that. I'm not on the council myself, but I do have my influences there.
Understood. I thought you were on the council, my mistake.
I prefer to work in the places where I am most comfortable.
Who are the members of the council? And
Well,
who do
that
you have
depends.
sway over?
That depends on who exactly you might be interested in. They're all advisors to the king, and various. I believe we have some who are from various cities, and others who are from the king's growing up period, still acting as advisors. There's a various amount, not necessarily representative of the whole entire country that we have here, but enough so that all parties are recognized and represented.
Okay.
Council may be the worst term to describe it, more parliament, but words are words.
Okay. So what would our work with you entail?
Well, I do have a few things that do need taken care of at this moment that I would like you to go on. Think of it as a forward for our relationship that we have here. Once you have finished maybe a couple tasks for me, I'd be willing to pay you for your services, obviously, and sponsor you in a way where you would get monetary funds, influence, and otherwise general goods if you would need them, such as a discount on my wares or custom items if needed.
Primrose, would you have any trouble with getting funds from this individual?
You look over and Primrose is doing the thing where her knees are up on the chair and she's got her tea and she's just asleep. She is so tired. She's dozing off a little bit. Sure. I don't know.
Okay.
And I look at I'll stare Malachi up and down a little bit.
Is there a reason that you would be opposed to this partnership? And he's kind of asking the general group.
I'm not opposed to the partnership.
Neither am I.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Auran really had to think about that one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I suppose I should ask, we have members of the Bulwark here. How tied are you to the Bulwark at this point?
I mean, they rescued me after the calamity and nursed me back to health, so they're like family to me.
In the very near future, we will be out on non-bulwark business.
Wonderful. Where are you headed?
To the west.
Yes.
I need to get out. I don't know if you can tell. I just, I'm not one to stay in one for too long.
Fair enough. We are opposites completely, as you can tell. Well,
And yet similar in more ways than you might think. I love the choice of animals.
well, it childhood dreams and thoughts of home.
Hmm.
Now, I ask simply because I know the Bulwark has their own interest invested in whatever things may happen around the country, and otherwise may not like you to get involved in some other affairs, such as other countries, or investigating certain things that may go against the wishes of the Bulwark's investigators. So, how comfortable are you going against the wishes of the Bulwark?
Is it for the benefit of the country?
You see him actually tip his head to think. I would say so, yes.
Would this go against any of the tenets that we as at the Bulwark take, especially the paladins?
I don't
Vigilance, loyalty,
believe so.
discipline.
I don't believe so. I'm not as familiar with the tenets, but I'm not going to ask you to just murder or assassinate, if that's what you're asking about. Unless you know, it's in the interest of the country, obviously.
What do you all think?
Um,
I'm pretty sure he's
The
just
only
talking
real
to you
ti-
and me because we're Bulwark members.
yeah, the only
The
tie I
other
have
two
to the
don't have any
bulwark is
affiliation there.
you two. I could, no offense, care less about the tenants.
I don't have the same tendency you do, but I also know that I'm okay with it as long as it doesn't go against the natural order of things.
What kind of things would go against the bulwark?
What was that?
What sort of things are you thinking of that could go against the bulwark?
Oh, just going across country lines and investigating things in the Manarot deserts, or involving yourselves in disputes between laborers and and things like that.
Would we ever be
Are we to be
opposed?
union busters?
They technically don't exist, but
Would we ever be opposing bulwark members?
it hasn't happened yet.
Okay. Tell us what you need in the Namrod Desert.
What was that? One more time.
Tell us what you need in the desert.
Oh, the desert. Well, that's something that maybe a little bit further in the future. I have a few teams here and there already investigating things there. However, there is something down near the mountains. I believe not quite where you're talking about with the King of the Mountain and things like that, but further west, there is a mining town that is having some troubles in the caves where they're drawing out some of their ores for my business. The word on the wind is that there's something down there in the cave that they need to deal with, or perhaps some sort of negotiation needs to be had with the workers of some kind. I'm not entirely sure. But out towards the west, near the mountains, we'll consider this the forward before our partnership.
If it's to help protect our citizens, then we should have no issue with doing this task.
Well, the ore leads to getting more things and supporting the bulwark with their things as well. It's not just me benefiting from this mining town.
Sounds good to me.
I think that can be arranged.
I agree.
Wonderful. Well, and again, this isn't a full commitment. This is simply a let's see where we end up. If you choose in your future endeavors, or you think about this task a little bit more and you choose not to support me or get sponsored by me, this one is our chance to get to know each other and see where our bottom lines are. Well, it has been very lovely.
There be a way to contact you when the job is finished?
Oh, at each little town, or at least at this town, there should be a what used to be a pigeon coop that they used to use back in the day for sending messages, but it has now been filled by my own designs. You should be able to relay and record a message, since you're already seem to be familiar with some of my work, and you should be able to get across to me in some way, shape, or form.
Is the typical travel for birds will still be relevant? Will it take a few days for a message to get to you and
It
then
should be a
back to us.
little faster. Specifically thinking about the sparrow that I used to contact you. That one is rather speedy quick, but it'll still probably take, let's see if I'm thinking about the area correctly, maybe about 3 days for communication to happen.
We'll have to discuss it, but I believe we will be planning to continue on from there. So we might do your job, attempt to complete it, send you the message, and then continue on our way. But we can also stay for an extra 3 days if, or an extra 6 days, to wait for a response from you. If you need anything else in that area before we continue on.
That's very kind of you. I didn't really consider that there would be another correspondence to happen. Well,
The Bulwark do use plenty of sending stones. We
but
used
those are
some
boring.
previously.
If you are willing to wait, feel free to wait, but I do have other groups that I can send to take care of other issues if you would prefer to move on with your journey. I'm sorry to say that I am not monogamous with my sponsorships. There are other people I can contact to take care of things.
So we can definitely do this and discuss when we are back in town. I don't foresee us being gone long, too long. I mean, we'll definitely plan to come back. So, excuse me, we can revisit when we're back in town to talk more. But we'll at least let you know with when your job is complete.
Wonderful.
And then any further correspondence we'll have to wait till we return from our other plans.
Wonderful. I love to hear that. You know, you all, despite your bulwarkiness, you all would be very fine salesmen. You are very good at negotiating and talking around the point. And making sure all entrances and exits are covered. So, if you would like a job as a traveling salesman, and you get tired of the bulwark, I'd be happy to offer a position.
Yes. Can I?
We're quitting the campaign, and we're
On our
traveling salesmen.
on our journeys, I'm sure we'll come across those that wish to buy mechanical contraptions of sorts. I would do a wonderful job spreading your passion and joys, Malachi.
Take care of this issue first, and I'll consider it. I already have quite a few other salesmen going out there, out and about different places. So, I don't need any...
Not as many have the orcish touch like us, but understood.
Well, I suppose orcish nature is more given than found, I suppose.
Does this first job come with a discounted travel option, perhaps?
I hadn't considered that either. Normally, my chariots only ride on the main roads, but,
A perfect opportunity to test its limits, then.
well, I was going to say, I have been working on some things for off-roading, specifically with the bulwark. Let's see.
Can we get the Jeep Wrangler trinket?
You're going to get the Ford F-150 and you're going to be happy about it.
Yeah. Clockwork F-150.
Hell yeah. Come with me. And he opens the door and begins leading you out towards more where his factory is at. And you see him, like, take a second, like, almost like he's forgotten what all these buildings are for. And he spins around for a bit on his wheelchair, looking. Yes, that one. And you see him drive up at a pace that you guys can follow along with, and go to the automaton sitting in front of it. Just stares up at it, doesn't say anything. Automaton turns, opens the door, and you see inside are a bunch of just mechanical parts moving around, and, you know, a forge that is essentially running by itself at this point. And stamping out different sheets of metal and different things. There's a few humanoid and living creatures, living beings, walking around and just kind of looking at things and making sure everything's going to plan. But for the most part, this is almost completely automated. Yes, come. And you walk by. Before you walk in, you do feel that sense of energy washing over you from the automaton, and then you walk inside, and then you hear the door close behind you. You see all the things I described as he just kind of drives past it. So, like, if you guys are like sitting and like looking around, he just starts going and ignores everything that's happened. And eventually you get to sort of the end of where this factory, this assembly line of things is. And you see at the very end is horses, mechanical horses, of various different shapes and sizes. There are some larger, some smaller. I haven't quite tested these out yet, but most warriors or bulwark members who travel off the main road are not quite used to my chariots in general, and prefer to travel a little bit faster across the hills than my current chariots may allow them to, depending on the weather and other different factors of where they're going. So I have created a few of these in order to possibly broker some sort of deal with the bulwark and see if they'd be interested in having them. Horses that you never need to feed, stop to rest, and can simply keep going as long as you can. They haven't particularly been tested with living members, so I would say it would be a very bad idea to try and sleep on them while they're running, because it is still like riding a horse and not quite as stable as my chariots. But if you would be open, I'd be happy to have you test these as, we'll call it, another favor, and perhaps a little bit more extra payment by the time the job is done.
Yeah.
However, should you choose not to participate in this forwarding favor, these do come with a homing device, much like the sparrows, that will return to me should you take a little bit too long to get back. Probably, let's say, a month without hearing from you.
Well, I'm wondering if we just use them to the mining town and let them come back.
Oh, yes. By all means, use them to the mining town, but if you end up taking them and stealing them, they will come back to me one way or the other.
We would
Just-
never.
Just letting you know. I know you're not the unsavory types that I sometimes have to deal with, but I do have to say these things from time to time.
I mean, that's fair. I feel like our plan would just be to use them to the mining town, and then as we continue further west, we will leave them behind at the mining town.
Ah, perfect. Well, as soon as I hear correspondence and whether you do or do not need the horses anymore, or how they're working, so that I may pass that on to my other people, then we'll see about what we can do. Now, I shall have a few of these packaged and ready to meet you out by the western gate, wherever you need to go. Let me mark on your map where you're going. And you see a mark. I don't have it specifically in the map right now because I haven't updated it in a bit, but mark a very small part of the map, and you see very next, like, tiny label is marked Goldrun.
One final thing.
Ah, yes.
What are your current connections with Galen?
You see a very sly smile as you ask this question. Has there been talk at the bulwark about me?
Not that I know of,
No.
actually. No.
Just my own curiosity.
Well, I have had salesmen go down towards that way in the past. Obviously, I travel all around with the chariots and things. I haven't made any dealings or sponsorships personally, but I'm sure that a few of my salesmen have bought and sold a few wares over there.
Insight check.
Go ahead and roll insight.
6.
He is 100% a used car salesman level of like speaking, where he is able to just kind of naturally glide over any like possibility of whether truth or lie or slight truth. He knows exactly what he's talking about, and he does not necessarily care if you know, but he's curious if people do know about things about him.
Very well.
Let's just say, if you tell someone my name in Gelen, they may not care.
Okay.
Hmm.
We're about to prepare for our next journey, and we're probably about to head over to one of your shops. 'Cause you do have a shop up in the city for.
Oh yes, down in the market district. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, is there anything you're going to get there? You could get it fresher here if you wanted.
Yes.
You will still pay full price at this point, unfortunately. Consider the horse is a testing run, but we're not
Is
quite
all of your
full friends
wares
yet.
here just mechanical?
Well, yes, if you wish to have something enchanted or require some more magic items, then you'll have to go to a different shop. But automatons, I do have a few various items here and there that may be interested of you.
Yeah, do you have one that has a utility purpose?
What utility are you looking for?
Grappling hook.
Anything in particularly useful in a situation, rather than just for looks.
Well, grappling hook. I do have some. I do have some grappling hooks somewhere. I can attach them to the horses and have them packed up for you to ready. How many would you need? They would probably run you about 25 gold apiece.
Okay. We'll put a pin in that. That's just like the first thing that came out of my mouth when I thought of it.
Oh, okay. Well, as far as other utility things, I do have.
What about something that can record longer phrases than this music box?
Unfortunately, I haven't seemed to quite work out something for longer phrases. 6 seconds is about the maximum that I've gotten out of it. That's one of my current projects.
So if we have to send a message, we have to bring it down to 6 seconds?
Yeah. Yes, somewhat. That's the current
You're
maximum.
probably going to get at least 3 birds, because we are very wordy people.
Well, so am I. Now, I do have self-cooking camping pots that will cook on their own. You just need to light them. I have, let's see. And you see him just like going through the catalog of his mind. I have.
What about something that could help us get more secure sleeping arrangements out in the open?
Oh, so like a encampment of some sort. I have
Yes.
I have tents that will set themselves up here and there. Those would run you probably about 10 gold apiece. But they would not really offer any protection if a bear came along and decided to rip it open.
Okay.
That actually sounds interesting. How big are these tents? Are they 1-person tents?
Could probably fit 2 people rather snugly.
Don't even think about Auran.
I side-eye Primrose.
I'm not paying attention.
Do you think it would fit an orc and a dragonborn in it?
No.
That one would be pretty snug, given particularly your dimensions,
Oh,
but it's
damn, pretty
possible.
snug, eh? We might as well try it out here.
Uh, I would say I'll pack them with the horse if you're interested, but if I test them out...
Oh, well, there'll be a horse.
I would like one of these tents on my horse.
10 gold. You see him, like, look around for a second, and snap his fingers, and then a little tiny, flying pig comes flying down, and sits up, and it has a little piggy bank slot.
10 gold.
Wonderful. Anyone else need anything? Those grappling hooks?
With the grappling hooks, are they? I'm thinking of a grappling hook gun that can retract.
Yes, that is essentially.
Okay.
It would not be. Just to give you a more in-depth description outside of game.
It could
It would
carry
not be
one
like
person.
Yeah, you would not be able to like. It's not like a zip line one where it would like automatically take you up the rope. It's to shoot and then climb, and then you'd have to rewind it up and then shoot it again.
I'll take one.
25 gold, please.
Do you have a canteen that can automatically refill itself?
Well, that's probably something you'd find more at a magic shop. I have a canteen that will swirl around wine and aerate it without needing any special equipment. If you're looking for something a bit fancier.
Not the wine, then, personally. I believe anything else that I would require a different shop, unfortunately.
Of course.
What about boots that have retractable spikes for climbing purposes?
I've never made those before, but
All right, reserved to Brenin Altars.
Well, we can get into trademark later.
What about perhaps something that would enhance a fist? I'm going to describe like a Fallout power fist.
That's another one I haven't made. I will keep those in mind.
All right, to Auran Athena.
Athena Bobina.
Athena Bobina. I have not had many hand-to-hand combat fighters come across me in my time, so that's never been really necessary.
A lucrative deal for you.
Nor have I had mountain climbers approach me with any ideas, so I will consider that as well.
What about perhaps some eyewear that would improve vision? A visor of sorts?
We do have simply telescopes. Those are within our purview, but nothing that would automatically engage. That's very, very fine and could cause some damage to the eye if it goes wrong.
What about some monocles that could detect traces of magic?
That would be more magic shop. Mine move and move around. Magic shops, they deal with that more energy.
Sure.
Could you perhaps make it to where my owl can take messages and speak them to where I command it? Maybe in the room. Doesn't have to be real far.
Only to speak, not to record?
Well, you're to record. Like, I'll tell it to say something and then it flies over to whoever and says it back to them.
Well, hand it here for a second. And you see him, like, look it over. Everyone make a perception check.
12.
Okay.
17.
That die is going away for the night. That was a 4.
9.
Auran, with your 17, and since you've had a lot of dealings with this thing, with this owl in particular, as soon as he, like, gets a hold of it and puts it on his finger, the owl springs to life and seems more lifelike than you've ever seen it while you've been while you've had it. Like, there is a fluidity to the motion that appears that simply wasn't there when you first had it and were using it. It seems something about him just makes this mechanical creature shine a little bit more. And you see him looking it over, and you see him kind of talking with it like, oh, is serial number, okay, all right, open wide, and you see it open up, right, let's see, and you see him go to his wheelchair, kind of pick through some of the different bags that he has over there, and you see him pick up a small little tiny gemstone. See him just slowly put it towards the mouth, and then takes out a little bit of tools, like some screwdrivers and stuff, and just kind of screws it in, some slight tapping with some jeweler kit stuff, and last tighten, and all right, you're all done. Now, let's see. Auran Athena. And he flutters off and lands on your shoulder, and it opens its beak and goes, Auran Athena, and then closes again.
Perfect. How much do I owe you, Malachi?
Well, considering that you obviously have been a fine patron of my goods, we'll consider that a favor from me.
My appreciation. I have another question for you, and I'm going to sidebar him.
By all means.
I'm a collector. I like finding very unique, one-of-a-kind things. Perhaps if we were to continue our partnership, the reward for my portion could come in the form of a unique artifact, a one-of-a-kind Malachi special, if you would.
Well, I can tell you I have several prototypes that are in various forms of being completed.
I'm a big fan of your work.
I appreciate it. You know how to butter a man up. Now, I can't say I can give you the best of the best. Obviously, I have to keep some things behind the curtains. But I could offer a few advances or improvements to your current selections as well. And maybe once or twice, once I finish a prototype, I could give you the first or second draft of it. But
That would be very much appreciated.
and he kind of like leans in closer to you since you're in the sidebar. It seems like you may have to do a little bit of extra work if you would like some finer goods. Your companions don't seem interested in some of the other work I might offer.
What would that be?
Oh, we can talk about it after you finish this one. Just
Very well.
wait for a sparrow at the window. That's how I find all my clients.
I think you'll find that we are the most reliable once we come to partnership more.
Well, and he says this to the rest of you, I do have some very reliable people that I work with, so you'll have to prove that to me. Now, if there is no further things that you need, I have some work that I need to take care of, but you may find your way to the original gate you're at. The automaton will let you pass through.
How much would the automatic campfire thing?
That would be 5 gold.
I'll take that and a grappling hook.
Okay, so 30
So
gold.
it's 30.
All right, I shall pack up those things and have them with the horses at the western gate when you are ready to leave. Now,
So is it just what is it again? The fire?
so it's literally like, it's essentially like a self-flipping pan. So like whatever you put into it, it's going to mix itself and do all that while over an open fire. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Essentially think of like a, kind of like a crock pot, but it can stir itself. All right, well, Have a wonderful day, and I do hope our partnership flourishes in a few ways. I've heard very interesting things about all of you. Ta-ta! And you see him drive off with his wheelchair back towards his shack.
What a spectacle, indeed.
Very interesting, to say the least. But a job's a job.
All right, let's boogie.
Onward.
All right, going out?
Yep.
Indeed.
Where would you like to go?
They were going to the magic shop.
Magic shop,
Yeah,
all right.
I want to get some potions.
Okay, so you come across and go to a magic shop run by we'll say a lizard folk man, or lizard folk couple, we'll say. Man and a woman, why not? You can tell I worked really hard on this magic shop when I
Nice.
was making it.
Also
color
as
is it?
well, as we head to the magic shop, I'll turn to the party, be like, I think I might need to lie down for a bit. I'll look towards, is there an inn nearby?
There's a couple places, yeah.
Sure.
Grim, it's the middle of the day. What is troubling you so?
No, I just didn't sleep very well.
Is there anything you need
To lie down.
besides from the shops? Anything we can do?
I'm usually pack pretty light, so I think I should be fine, but thank you.
Okay, we'll come get you when we're done then.
Sounds good.
All right. So, what are you looking for first? We'll just kind of do all this stuff out of the way. So, I'm just going to go person by person, say what you want, tell you a price. So, let's start with Mr. Auran.
Don't start with Auran.
Oh, God. Okay. Mr. Odavius.
I would like some health potions.
Health potions? Are you looking for, like, just regular ones, greater, superior?
Just regular. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I'm not high enough health to even.
Okay,
consider
those are
it,
going
but-
to be 50 gold pieces a piece, depending on how many you can afford or want.
I will take 4 of them.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
I had something else, but I lost it. So move on.
All right, we can come back to you. Mr. Brenin, what are you looking for?
Probably some survival gear. What about the boots of striding and springing?
Boots of striding and sprinting. Can you tell me what rarity that is?
Springing. Uncommon.
Uncommon?
Mm-hmm.
Let me just look them up, kind of do a little bit of stuff. I'd set those at about 150 gold.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. The decanter of endless water.
What's the rarity on that?
Uncommon.
I'd say the same. 150.
Okay. Do you guys think we need a drift globe? Automatic light. I cannot see in the dark.
I mean, I have light. So,
That is right.
yeah. I mean, we have magical ways to give you light.
Forgot about that.
Is
I
the
wanna-
regular health potion D4?
Hmm?
Is the regular a D4?
2d4 plus 2.
2D4 plus
I believe.
Oh. And what about the gloves of swimming and climbing? Uncommon.
That one would also be at 150.
Okay. Odavius, if you'd be able to help me, I would like to get these boots of striding springing for Primrose. But you can also you can be the one to hand them to her.
Say that again. Hold on.
So I have 428 gold.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 items that I'm looking for are 450 gold. But I'm getting these boots of striding and springing for Primrose.
Ooh.
But if you're willing to help, you are more welcome to give them
So
to her.
You just need enough to get up to 450?
Yeah, that should be fine.
How much is that?
That would be just 23 gold.
It's yours.
All right.
Getting all 3.
All 3 of them. So, boots, gloves, and decanter, right?
Yes.
All right. Make sure
Of
you mark
the
those. All right.
Gloves of missile snaring
Gloves of missile snare.
are uncommon. Or like the monk crab missile thing.
Those would be 200.
Deal.
Alrighty.
That's it.
Oh,
Okay.
I remember the other thing I wanted.
What did you want?
I wanted like a ring of defense or something to get
Ring of
+1
defense.
something to up my armor class
Rare protection or cloak of protection, probably.
or something like that. Yeah.
All right. Ring of protection would be probably around 600 gold. Let me look at the cloak. I can't remember if that would be too much different. The cloak of protection would be about 300.
All out of my price range.
Sorry. They're good items. They're rare. So they're expensive.
Next time.
All right. As you
How
get all
close are
your...
you?
The what?
How close are you?
I figured you're all...
No.
Like, money-wise.
Odavius. How close are you to the
I have
cloak of protection?
222 right now.
Man, how did y'all get all this gold? I wonder.
That's weird.
He gave more to Auran than he gave to me in Brenin. So
Well, you guys got more directly from the bulwark.
Mhm.
that's also true.
Figured only fair.
You have how much?
I have 222 right now.
I'd like to argue with the shopkeep to lower it to 275 because that's all of my gold with Odavius's gold.
All right, we'll say this is for the cloak.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm not gonna try to argue 600 to 275.
Yeah, no, I don't want you to either.
All right. You see this lizard folk woman. Well, what's in it for me? You have
You know, we're going to be doing a lot of traveling lately, or soon to be. We'll be going out west actually. Quite a few small towns, and I'm sure all of them are looking for a go-to contact for their magical items. We'd be happy to pitch your fine establishment and urge them to go and do their business here rather than elsewhere.
You'd be willing to advertise the dragon's clutches?
I would. That wasn't made up just now.
Definitely not.
No, it's 5 minutes ago. It was made up. Not right now.
About 2 seconds, really.
Where are we? We're in Valakite.
Yeah, Verlikite. Tell you what. If you're willing to sponsor us, or
Well, not sponsor,
be
financial.
a contact,
Oh, hold on.
you let us inscribe your boots, gloves, cloak with our logo, and put in a good word. Perhaps we'll let you get to 275.
Are they wanting to do Odavius' or Brenin stuff and the cloak?
Yep, so all the things you've bought from them, they want to, like,
I'll look for
embroider
Brenin.
their name.
Boots are off limits.
All but the boots. He's very
Oh.
sensitive about his feet. Please.
Roll. This will be the persuasion check, if you can get it with the boots or not. Go ahead, roll persuasion.
Okay. Is there any guidance in the air?
Yeah.
Your inspiration has left you.
Yeah,
No.
no inspiration.
If you're looking for a good word, we just got hired by Malachi himself.
We'll get to that in a second. What's the persuasion check?
I'm attempting to give advantage.
I would say it would not give advantage. And we'll get to it in a second.
With
Oh,
a
fuck, I might have
4,
fucked things up.
with a 4 on the guidance, 14.
14. If you put in a good word, we won't have to inscribe the boots. But Malachi is nothing but a sham and a salesman at his core. If you're making a deal with him,
I smack Brenin in the shoulder. Why'd you have to say anything?
I would be very careful. There's a reason why he's gotten so large in this town and in this kingdom.
Damn, didn't know he had it like that.
All right, give the things here. I'll embroider
All right.
them.
I will give you my 53 gold, Odavius.
Hey-o.
Nice. So you have a cloak of protection. All right. Takes all your things except for the boots. Inscribes the logo. It's a very well done hand embroidered logo where it's like the dragon's clutch in a nice cursive, as well as the end letter kind of turning into a dragon that's spewing fire and things. Inscribes it. Now, let everyone know where you got that. I'm sure they'd be very interested.
Will do.
Honey, I made a good deal. And turns towards the towards the husband.
I will turn towards the compatriots and say, I'm going to go attune to this thing. I suppose I'll go find Prim. Are we doing anything else?
I'm good.
I've written a little note and folded it up and put them with the boots.
Cute.
Here you go. You can go give that to her.
Wow. All right.
Can we go find a nice gift bag with tissue paper coming out on the top?
Unfortunately, those don't exist.
I'm going to
in this
hide it
period.
in my newly bought cloak.
There's no Hallmark.
There is
here in
no
Valakite?
Hallmark gift cards, no.
I know I forgot something. Bag of holding. Fuck.
If you want to go back,
I have no money.
I forget what's the rarity of a bag of holding? Uncommon.
It's uncommon.
I'd say that'd be about 200, if you needed it.
We'll get that next time.
Next time. All right.
It'll always be next time. You'll always forget.
That's true. All right, so you guys kind of head along your own separate ways, doing some shopping. Primrose,
long?
what have you been doing?
Yeah, how long would shopping have taken? Not that I would know ahead of time.
I'll say probably with the embroidery and the, bargaining and, getting around places, probably about an hour.
Okay. I'm not gonna go lay down. Big
do tell.
surprise. Feel like we might have had this conversation before, but I forget. Is there any known performance spots or?
No, this is more
Mhm.
like you'd go into an inn and get hired by the inn to perform.
Yeah.
If you did. There are street performers that you've passed by, but
Okay, so
there are
that's
very
not
few in between.
uncommon,
No.
but it's not unheard of, I should say. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pick a fucking not out of the way spot, but very much it's weird. She kind of wants people to see her perform, but she's not doing it for other people. If that
Okay.
makes sense. And then I'm gonna strip down to my like dancing performing clothes to
Okay.
take this stupid armor off. I think I don't remember if I bought any. I think before our last journey, I might have bought some like finer garments or something.
I believe
Really-
so. Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
Take out that that walking staff that can be like a whip thing.
Hmm.
And this time, Sleepy, I am actively going to try new, different kinds of styles of dances with like throwing the stick around. And then I have my invisible mage hand now that can catch it and throw it back and do some crazy stuff, throwing various things like juggling with myself almost across to like an invisible thing and myself. And we're going to try some new stuff.
All right. Go ahead, give me a performance check.
Okay. I add a lot to this.
I will
Damn.
say, don't add your proficiency bonus because you're not proficient with the stick and the whip.
Okay. I am expertise, so no, not even the expertise part.
No, I'm gonna be an
Okay.
extra jerk because you're tired as well.
All of that aside, it's still a 22.
All right. Yeah, you give a performance. We'll say you get 3 gold from people passing you by in your a little secluded area, but
Cool.
you do get a little bit of stuff.
I'll add that. Is there, as I'm doing this specifically, I am keeping an eye out for any younger people who might like kids that might catch interest.
I'll say like 1 passes by.
Okay. How interested do they seem?
They're kind of being pulled along by a parent, but they do like stare at you the entire time they're beginning to walk by.
Okay. As I see that, I'll like finish a front flip and catch the stick as I'm walking and start walking. And they're with their parents.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll also start walking. Good day today, isn't it?
To the kid.
To the parents first.
Oh yes, it's a fine day for anything. Good job.
Thank you. Might I ask what your child's name is? And I'll look down at him and be like, "What's your name?"
I hate you. Why are you? Why do you need this?
You can name him fucking Timmy for all I care.
I'm Robert.
yeah.
Hi, Robert. My name is Primrose.
Hello.
Hello. I saw you seem very interested. Have you ever thought about maybe one day trying something like this yourself?
I'm gonna be a wizard.
A wizard. There's a little bit of, oh, don't tell anybody, but there's a little bit of extra magical flair to what I do. And I'll like minor illusion some sparks.
Wow.
I hope you follow that inspiration. Okay, Robert?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll look up and I'll hand the parents like a silver piece.
Parent takes it, I guess. Walks off.
Mm-hmm. And then I'm gonna give a deep sigh. I'm gonna go into one of the taverns, the one that I said I was actually gonna go sleep in.
We'll say you do end up like eventually meeting Odavius, like probably like right as you sit down at the tavern, he walks in with a little like bundle underneath his cloak.
Prim, prim, prim.
How'd the shopping go, Odavius?
Wonderful. I have a
Odavius,
present for
make a perception check for me.
you. Ooh, that's better. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You notice that Primrose is rather sweaty at this point, and seems like she's been doing some exercising of some sort.
Anyways, Prim, I have a gift for you.
You have a gift. Well, thank
And
you.
then, very Count Dracula style, I will open the cape to reveal the boots.
Those are some nice boots.
Yes.
Where'd you
They
get
are
them?
boots of
Striding and springing.
striding and springing. We got them from a lovely little magical shop that we may or may not be sponsoring, and I'll show off the embroidery.
Yeah, and you see the dragon's clutch like written across the back of his cloak.
I immediately inspect the boots to see if the embroidery is on them.
Nothing. There is nothing on them. They are completely free of any embroidery.
Normally I'd probably do that stealthily, but I'm quite tired, so well, thank you. I appreciate the gesture.
I hope they serve you well.
While you were looking over the boots, you probably would have seen the little note that was in it. It says, to Primrose, thank you for everything you do in our group. Please wear these boots so that you can jump higher, stride farther, and let nothing hold you down from reaching your dreams.
Can I ask Odavius for a roll? Because there's a lot happening in Primrose's brain right now.
What are you looking for?
Insight, I think. Unless his passive insight's high enough. I don't know what his passive is.
He's pretty wise. I'll say roll an insight roll. Why not?
Okay.
Roll an insight roll, Odavius.
Oh, sorry. That would be a 16.
16? What are you trying to convey?
Primrose is very conflicted. She... So I sort of put this. She appreciates the gesture very, very much and, like, is considering doing something that she, like, you read that she would think is uncomfortable for her. Man, this sounds really way different from what... Okay, anyways. Her considering doing something that would be uncomfortable for her or out of her, like, goes against the code of hers, kind of. While looking at these boots.
All right.
And are we there?
We'll say you come in a little bit later after the gift giving.
This feeling will persist and linger, and so you can probably read it on her a little bit. There's like a little hesitation, but she does put the boots on.
All right. Cool.
Before we go, I will take some time to attune to my new cloak.
Nice. We'll say probably after you attune, about 30 minutes later, in walk Auran and Brenin.
It's powerful. Sorry.
Primrose, you look lovely in your new boots. Odavius, as well with your cloak, very mighty.
She's new boot scooting.
These boots were made for dancing.
For dancing.
For springing.
It's like flavor text on the bottom of the boot. These boots are made for dancing.
Yeah, that was the only embroidery. Made for dancing.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to do before you go towards the west gate and find your mechanical horses?
No.
To battle.
Yeah. To battle. All right.
Yeah.
You guys go along, make your way towards the western gate.
As we walk to the gate, I am going to pull Prim aside and say, "You get any rest?"
I got rest.
Are you sure? Because you look sweatier than you did when you left.
I never said physical rest, but I got rest.
Oh. Okay.
All right. You guys see towards the entrance, towards the west gate, there is a automaton that is standing, and it's holding on to 4 bridles for these mechanical horses, and it's just standing there. And you see it just kind of moving and shifting back and forth, and looking at all the people that are walking past it. And then you
I will
guys
go up to the automaton.
you walk up to it, and you feel that energy hit you, and then it just goes and hands you the bridles. You notice these horses have built-in saddles that are made out of leather. They are activated by grabbing onto the bridle and yanking it to go, and it has various adjustable speeds as you need, and can adjust them by yanking in a couple different ways. We'll say Malachi told you how to work these way back when already, or writes a little instruction booklet for you in some way, shape, or form. So you know how to
I
write
came
this.
up with the idea, but I don't think I need 4 of these, and I'll hand one to all my friends.
All right, so you all have these mechanical horses. Your journey is going to take you, let me look at my map, directly towards the west, southwest a bit, past Anfang. With these horses, you're going to be probably making what would be a 2-week journey in about a week, thanks to the faster capability of these horses. So, with each of these days, if we're going to go off and travel, we're going to need a roll for morning, afternoon, and evening for some events. And I need to find my fucking event journal. Shit. Is this it? All right, hold on. Wait, make sure I got the right book.
Do we want one person per day?
There we go. Let's do, if we want one person each day, you'd have to make 3 rolls. So, Odavius, why don't you give me 3 rolls, one right after the other.
And 4. We have 1,
Okay,
a 3,
okay.
and an 11.
The day passes normally with no troubles. You settle down for the night, get to enjoy a meal with your automatic cooker and different things, attuned to all your equipment, I assume. And who wants to roll for the next day?
If possible, I would like to sit down with Brim briefly.
All right, we'll say in the evening of this day, you may sit down with Prim.
Brim, I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Does the work that we do make you uncomfortable?
Getting paid for it does. The work is fine, but I don't like... It's weird because I've been, I guess you could argue, scrappy since I was a teen. And denying money isn't something that when you're scrappy you do too often, but if I can, I like to sustain myself off of what I consider to be earned and my own talents and skills. And when it's judged by another person and given to me through hierarchical means and seemingly arbitrary amounts, I don't know. It makes me feel less valued. And this could all just be pretentious drivel, but large money makes me uncomfortable.
You said you're not comfortable getting paid for your work.
Work I don't feel like I deserve to be paid for. If
Do you think you haven't deserved what you've been given, like, while you've been part of our group?
there's a difference between a large man in a golden suit of armor walking down with a war chest filled with thousands of gold versus a man on the street giving you a coin from his pocket. And I prefer the coin from the pocket. Makes it feel more deserved, more earned. And again, this could all just be pretentiousness on my part. But I like to support that level. I like to help out where I can on an individual basis, and I like being rewarded in the same turn. There's a reason while I've been on my travels alone, I find myself thin on coin, and I usually work for just room and board. I don't know. It makes it feel more meaningful. I'm sure it's not a problem most people have.
Remind me how old you are.
27.
Yeah, that's what I thought. She would be around the same age as you, if she was still around. My daughter. So long ago, my family and I also lived a simple life. I worked in kind of chopping down trees, a little deforestation to get wood chopped and sent out to a lot of our neighbors back where I lived, and that's how I supported my wife and daughter. It's been so long I've kind of forgotten about that life, about just living day to day and not getting much for a day's work. I know where you're coming from. Just know that I would like to believe what we're doing is good, is for the greater good. And you've helped me, you've helped Auran, you've helped Odavius, each individually. And I'm not sure on how comfortable you were with it. Seemed like you were having some conflict, but please know that those boots that Odavius got you were a thank you from all of us. We greatly appreciate your help.
I appreciate it. Honestly, seeing the individual impact is what keeps me going in all kinds of work. Don't know if I could do this solo. I know I couldn't do this solo, actually, both from a abilities perspective and a motivation perspective. Since this gift from Odavius, and I'll look down at the boots. Kind of ties all back into the same thing. I feel lighter already in these boots, and I don't know how that makes me feel. Because I take great pride in my abilities when it comes to dancing and performing. And Well, not all natural, and I'll do a little bit of magic. It's all self-sufficient. And so, the boots are an additional ability. But maybe I shouldn't think of them as such. And the thought put into them is far too generous to ignore.
Think of it as each one of us is helping to lift you up so that more people can notice your greatness.
I appreciate it.
Try to get some sleep tonight.
I think I can.
Good.
As this conversation comes to a close, I want to sneakily try and cast Thaumaturgy and make an owl hoot come from Auran's owl.
Boo!
Do I have to roll
Goodness.
anything to make it sneaky?
Do you want to be sneaky about it?
Yeah.
Roll a stealth check for me, or a sleight of hand. Actually, hold on. Thaumaturgy. Does it use?
I think it's vocal.
It's just
Yeah.
vocal. We'll make this a stealth check.
19.
19. What's your passive perception, Auran?
12.
It's not
So
26.
you just hear a hoot come from your owl.
Awesome. You must have added some other kind of programming to it.
I'm going to smile as I crawl in my tent.
Nice. All right. So next day, let's have Primrose. Why don't you roll for me?
3 rolls. First one,
3 rolls.
18. Second
Okay.
one, 3. Third one, 6.
Okay.
I think the high numbers are what we fear.
Yeah, I agree.
Pulling up to my shit.
Yep.
All right. So,
I shoot the goblin on the left, by the way.
God. Rip up a character sheet.
Oh, it's Gonk.
Oh God, Gonk! No,
Gog.
he's back.
My God, Gonk.
Going back a little bit,
Troubled
when
world.
we were talking to Malachi, I was getting serious Gilmore vibes.
Gonk is like the one above all from Marvel Comics. He's just in every universe, everywhere. As you're passing by, you see a row of prisoners being taken towards the direction of Verlikite. You see they are very plainly dressed. There's a row of about 3 of them passing by. All roped up, not with iron manacles, tied to the horse of a bulwark member going down that way. As you pass by, Primrose,
I
you
was
see
about to ask.
one specifically staring at you.
I was about to fucking ask. All right. Do I recognize this person?
You don't recognize this person, but he is staring at you very intently.
How far? Like, are we slow passing each other?
You're slowly past, like, probably at this point, you're probably like right next to each other since you can see him looking at you.
I'll hop off the horse. Hello there.
The bulwark member like turns around and like faces towards you.
I'm going towards the bulwark member.
Oh, okay,
So-
you're not just going to the person. Okay,
No.
I have a mission to take these prisoners. Unfortunately, I can't stay and chat.
This will not take too much time. I think one of your prisoners might recognize me, and I'm just curious as to why.
I'll flash my
Looks back.
bulwark.
Looks at you, sees the flashing. Don't take too long. I have a schedule to keep.
Yes, of course. I'll go to the prisoner who seems to recognize me. I'll get up, like, relatively close.
Mm-hmm.
Hello there. What might your name be?
My name is Gunther. It's a little dwarf man.
I don't recognize this name at all.
Nope.
Okay. Gunther, Pleasure to meet you, I think.
This is
Unless we've met before.
you see him like stumbling over his words, trying to realizing that he was staring at you and now having to like actually confront you about this.
Okay, you're not the first, nor will you be the last to stare at me.
So do you have a brother?
Lotus?
Yeah. Talk a lot about sister tiefling, lavender skin.
Where are you from?
Well, I was doing community service, and if he could like quote air quote, he would down at Goldrun doing some mining operations over there, and well, I haven't seen him in a bit. I think we got separated out in around the mine somewhere. I don't know if he's free or not yet, but
Was he under the control of the bulwark? Were you all?
well, we're at least shipped around by them, and he kind of looks towards the guy up front.
How is he doing?
Seems fine, except for the hand.
Bulwark, what are these men in chains for and ropes for, may I ask? And I'll turn to him. Very clearly ice in my words.
We need to make sure they don't escape. We have some murderers and thieves back here who would relish the opportunity to run back to another place.
Gunther, might I ask why you think you're in ropes?
Well, the public indecency probably didn't help, but probably the stealing and the assaults and the more stealing and the more assaults.
Fair enough. Where did you say you were last seen? My apologies. It's been a while since I've heard my brother's name.
It's down in Goldrun.
Goldrun.
Saw him maybe a couple of months ago. We ended up doing different tasks. I'm more suited for the hitting and the things. He was better at the planning stuff.
That he always was. Thank you, Gunther. And then Gold probably doesn't do this man any good, so I'll give him some rations out of my pack.
Kind of just takes it, slowly slides it into his little...
I will stare at the bulwark member, almost clearly giving him the rations.
He does not seem to care. He seems more worried about keeping his schedule moving forward.
Fair enough.
Kind of sneaks it in. The other prisoners kind of I know your brother too, and hold their hand out.
Sure, I'll split a ration between the two of them.
And they all kind of pack it into their shirts. Bow to you a little bit.
Goldrun. I don't know if I've been to Goldrun, at least not in a while. Thank you, Gunther.
The guard does not look at you. He looks towards the other bulwark members and just gives a look of are we done?
Get him out of here.
And begins walking along.
Didn't you say Gold Run?
Goldrun.
Goldrun?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the
write
exact
this
place
down.
we're heading to right now.
Yes.
That's where...
That's where we're going.
I was wondering about these workers' things.
Primrose, is there something we should be aware of?
Eventually, but not right now.
Friends with the beggars and thieves. I love it.
All right. As that keeps going, who else wants to roll for the third day?
I'll do it.
Go. Roll 3 rolls.
19.
Okay.
10,
Okay.
19.
Ooh. Twofer. All right. Whoop, that's the wrong dice. Sorry. One sec. As you pass by in the afternoon. Sorry, I gotta flip through all my shit. You see a gorge as you're passing, now past the bridge. You see a gorge on the long side as you're heading further west, and see the river beginning to flow, like where it feeds into the river. A large gorge that cuts into the land. Mossy boulders, natural caves beginning to form as you get closer and closer towards the mountains. There's a small narrow path that you see some travelers have gone by. There's some recent encampments that you can see from last days of different adventurers and travelers going in to get a drink from the river. But as you pass that and go into different things, a violent wind begins to pick up, and the clouds slowly begin to darken for the evening as a storm begins coming in and lightning begins striking as you begin settling down for camp. Last day's journey. Or, Brenin, why don't you go for it?
Okay. 16, 7, 18.
18. All right. Goodness Christ. There we go. All right. The storm continues to rain throughout the rest of this day. As you get closer to the mountains, you see lightning striking the very tops of the mountain. This violent weather slowly churning and churning as you get further and further closer towards this. By the evening time, you are all drenched with water as you reach Goldrun at this
Did
point.
we skip a few days?
Nope, it was about 4 days a week or so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you said a week, and I was thinking 7 days.
A week-ish.
You got horses.
You got horses. You can move pretty quickly with them. Everything that I write is accounted for like foot travel. So like it moves pretty quickly when you have actual animals. So as you reach Goldrun in the evening, soaked and tired in this rain, lightning striking everywhere, I'd like everyone to make Constitution saving throws to see if you are exhausted from this day's journey against the storm.
Natural 20.
Nice.
I rolled a 5, but I cannot take points of exhaustion.
Oh, shit. All right. Fair enough.
16.
16, pass.
13.
13, that is a pass. Just barely, though. DC was 12, so nice work. No one is exhausted by this. As you make your way into town, there are some guards posted that are not Bulwark members down by the, not necessarily gate, but entrance to the town. As you ride up, you see they have on very, heavy padded clothing to keep the water off them a little bit. Excuse me. For what purpose are you passing through?
Business of Malachi.
Of course he's coming to check in. All right, fine. Pass through. Please respect the laws of our land and the laws of our city. Do not offer any escape or rides to anyone who may need it. And
Anyone who needs it. Got it.
So, am I getting the sense that Malachi didn't tell us that the workers here were working of their own free will? Anybody else getting that?
Oh, I kind of figured it might have been the case to begin with. I just didn't know how deep it ran.
Might have been a little tense in the moment. All right.
All right.
Well, I mean, it sounds like from our encounter we had a few days ago that it's people
All right.
working off issues.
as you get further and further into the town, you notice that someone begins running towards you in a hurry, like holding like a book over their head and running in your direction. And then you see that this is a kobold, a small kobold. Hey, you four, you're working for Malachi, right?
Yes.
Great. His descriptions are always accurate. He sent word on ahead to look for you folks. Said you'd be getting here about this time. All right. Well, if you want to come with me, I'm the foreman of the mine, and in charge of at least Malachi's side of the business. There's other various foremen that take care of other sides of things, like the bulwark and the court of mages and other various blacksmiths and interests in whatever. If you want to come with me and get out of the rain, we can stay at the nearby tavern and have a discussion about the things we're doing.
Very well.
Great. All right. And you see him, like, he is holding a, like, ledger book over his head to keep out of the rain. He just has, like, the barest of clothing on at this point. Walks into the tavern, gets a seat, buys all of you whatever drinks or nourishment you may need. Now, I am Zeef. It's nice to meet all of you. I run things, like I said, down at the mine. So Malachi,
What's been going on?
Yes, Malachi told me to abridge you of what things were happening. Well, it turns out that there may be some things in the mine that are not happy with us, in the form of various creatures and such. And so the miners are not wanting to work, just for the sake of their own lives, because we have had a few people who got not dead, but pretty injured, give or take a few limbs or injuries of some kinds, across every
How many
place.
creatures are known at this point?
Well, most people don't really see them. They kind of hide in the dark when they get deep down enough into the cave. We tried bringing some torches, but they just kind of dropped down from the ceiling and got the other people.
How many wounded?
At least as far as Malachi's side of the business, probably 3 miners at this point. There could be others.
Do you have adequate clerics or paladins?
Oh, we have
of healing.
We have a local healer here who's been tending to them and taking care of them.
How recently was the last attack?
I want to say it's been about 2 weeks since the last one. The workers have all just not wanted to go down there, and there's only so much we can do to incentivize them.
Incentivize?
Oh, yes. There's only
Quick
so much.
word.
There's only so many bonuses you can hand out for people.
Curious question. I am just wondering, for record-keeping purposes of seeing the ones that are injured and maybe potential patterns, are there ledgers kept of workers and when they start / when they leave here?
Takes the book that he was holding onto and using as an umbrella. Whoop, shoop. Here's some folks that you can take a wake of if you're suspicious of any names, or if there's any names that Malachi wanted you to look at. Could be some magical summoning of some sort, some kind, but I'm not good at that stuff.
Thank you. I'm going to flip through this ledger, looking for one name in particular.
You do not see that name.
I did not think so. Alrighty. Good. And I'll act like I'm trying to loosely memorize the list. Good to know. Okay.
Has the damage done to the injuries? Have they been piercing, slashing, bludgeoning, any other kind?
Mostly piercing, slashing. You'd have to talk with the healer. I kind of have stayed away from that, but very bitey things.
Bitey. Okay.
or at least from what we've seen. I haven't seen it myself. You could probably ask the workers what they've seen.
We'll intend to.
Have all these attacks been centralized around a single mine shaft, or are they spread out?
They're pretty spread out, as far as I know.
Gents and lady.
Pretty soon. How many workers here want to work, are working here for money, and how many here are working off to pay off something?
Well, I'm in charge of Malachi's things. As far as I know, all of our people are paid a certain amount of sums. There is the prison division where, you know, some people get sent here for hard labor to work for the city. But
This,
then there's other various businesses that have an interest in these mines. I'm not sure about their numbers.
the prison division might have more of an interest in driving people out of the mines. Is it possible to get a hand on those ledgers as well?
You'd have to do some convincing with the Bulwark members that are over there. They're the ones kind of overseeing it. They probably have a foreman over there too, who's in charge of all that stuff. But again, I was sent here to talk to you. Malachi doesn't really have any other business in their area.
That's fair, but it's good to know all of the options. Due diligence.
How far down are we talking for these encounters, and what is the full... Are we discovering what's the cause? Are we trying to clear out the causes?
As far as I'm understanding, Malachi really only cares about the result, which is people are going back in and mining for him.
Okay. So we'll probably need to talk with the workers to make sure that figure out what they need to do to feel safe.
Mm-hmm.
We might need to split up for a little bit. Primrose, you choose who goes with you to talk with on the other end, and the other team will go talk with the workers and the healer, with Malachi's side.
I'm okay with. Honestly, it might be better if you decide who goes with me. I'm okay with whoever.
That orc lady looks really tough. She should go with.
Agreed.
I am tough. Slam my fists together.
Athena, keep her in line. I wink.
Of course.
Odavius, let's go.
Are they going to talk to the Bulwark?
Yes.
Do I have anything on my possession
Like what?
that would? Well, no.
Like the emblem of the Bulwark.
Before we go, Brenin, we should stop there with our emblems to say they can be trusted, and please answer their questions.
Right now, we might not want to be affiliated with the Bulwark.
I have my way.
We are continuing on, or might be our intention to continue on with our other job.
I mean, we're still. I mean, yes, but after this, I think it's quite known that we're part of the Bulwark, anyways. I mean, after this, yes, we can conceal that, but I mean, here with Bulwark members still present, I don't think it's that much.
You guys do stick out like a sore thumb.
Primrose, do you want the Bulwark to be brought up while we're here?
I'd prefer not, but whatever it takes. All I want is answers.
I suppose we'll let you go, and if you need our help, let us know.
Sounds good.
You have a way with words. You'll get the answers you'll need.
I certainly do. Try.
Well, in any case, it's still the evening and raining pretty hard out there. So, if you would like to rest in the inn, your rooms are already paid for, courtesy of Malachi. I'm not sure what they want to do with your horses at this point, but I think the stable should be fine for them. If you need anything, just remember, talk to Zeeth. I'll be over down by the mine at the living quarters over there, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have. But I do need some sleep. So,
Do we have a room to ourselves? Or
yes,
We each have a room.
you each have a room.
Correct.
Yes.
Thank you, Steve. That'll be all.
Perfect. Kind of scoots his way down, walks off, gets his ledger out with the umbrella.
shall we get some shut eye then and hit this in the morning?
Mm-hmm.
Zach, just for clarification's sake, for
Yes.
like a sense of timeline here.
Uh-huh.
In my backstory, doing the math from
Mhm.
what I'm reading in my backstory to how old I am now, it's been about 10 years since I've been separated from Lotus.
Correct.
Okay. And Gunther said that this happened a couple months ago.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good to know. As we go up to rest, I'm going to open my door and silently like just your people inside.
We're invited. Go in.
I think it's only fair I let you know why I've been so riled up lately. I think you've gathered that Lotus is my brother and that we've been separated for some time, and that he was imprisoned for something. Technically, we were both supposed to be. We had left my family because the Cataclysm has a way of bringing some people closer together, yet tearing others far apart. And we
I
were
know that all too well.
new to this whole magic thing. And so we wanted to learn and hone our skills to keep things in control and see what we could utilize to make a living on our own on the road. And gods, I could not tell you what town we were even fucking in, but magic was very heavily looked down upon there, apparently. I don't even remember specifically what we were doing, some sort of practice, minor infraction, I'd imagine. And I guess it must have been the Bulwark, I didn't know it at the time, arrested us on the spot for acts of magic. And we were both supposed to get 6 months of penal labor. Mind you, I was 17 at the time, my brother only 19, and my brother, that's where I get my way with words, is from him. Smooth talked his way into taking all of the penal labor on himself. 1 year of time for him, and I get to walk free. Mind you, that 1 year of time was supposed to happen 10 years ago. So big surprise to me when I hear just a few months ago he is still serving his time in penal labor. Could he have done something else? I doubt it.
So you want to do a jailbreak?
I want to find him first. That's the first step. And that's why I've been so animated lately.
Did you hear of your brother serving more time while we were in the city?
I have not heard of my brother for the past 10 years, and I have been looking this entire time.
Doesn't seem very Bulwark-like to wrongfully imprison someone 10 times their sentence.
I would say so, but it might be harder to see otherwise while we're inside the organization. People outside might see something else. As
It's
much as I
also-
want to go ahead.
It's also why my distrust for organizations runs high. Situations
Well-
like this happen far too often, at least to me.
I understand, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this.
I know I'm coming off as heated, and well, I am, I don't blame, and I'll look specifically at Odavius and Brenin. I don't blame the two of you for this. You had no idea. You're just good soldiers doing their jobs, thinking and doing better for the world. That doesn't mean that at the higher levels there isn't ulterior motives.
Primrose, if you would request it, I could go over there right now, find whoever has the records, and have a nice little chat with them until they give up what we need.
If my plan fails, I would greatly appreciate that, but it is a bit personal for me, so I'd like to get my crack at them first.
Of course.
Like I said,
I think-
you just say the word and we'll go.
Auran, will you be able to back her up?
Absolutely.
Appreciate
Okay.
it. Well, figured you should all know that.
Thank you
Did not
for sharing.
expect it to get it from a dwarf named Gunther on the road on mechanical horses.
We're almost a circus act now.
Like we're living, huh?
Life has always thrown surprises at us, it seems.
That's an understatement.
Not 5 days ago, we were talking to a man from the moon.
Mhm.
So,
Shall we get some sleep?
I'm good to rest.
I'll make sure that I'm the last one to leave Prim's room, and I'm going to hesitate, thinking about the reaction from the boots. But then I'm going to walk out, make sure the door's closed, walk to Brenin before he goes in the room, slap him on the shoulder, and say, "You're supposed to be a wingman. What the hell?" And then walk to my room in a huff.
And with that, we'll close out this episode. It's a little bit early, but we all got shit to do, unfortunately. But thank you all for watching, and we will see you later. Bye, folks.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Swing and a Crit and Miss. If you liked it, give us a like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. And we hope we'll see you next time. See ya!